Bay Area Baddies, my pride, my joy. I've gotten so many questions over the past year, and even now, thought, why not just make a long ass YouTube video answering everything? There's just a lot I really wanted to explain that I never really got the chance to. Here I am, I'm going to do that. I'm going to answer. I'm freeballing it. I think I mainly just wanted to answer some questions I have been getting last year and this year. So without further ado, we're going to get into literally everything from the origin of how Bay Area Baddies started to how I was able to do free events all year last year. We got the time, so we're gonna do it right now. So first things first, part one of this video is how did Bay Area Baddies start? I have explained this so many times, explained the full scope of it, because like I said, the original story goes is I started my TikTok account in 2024 and I started promoting a lot of different events. All-Star Weekend came to the Bay Area, my content was blowing up. I created the All-Star Weekend group chat on Discord, and then I had noticed that everybody wanted to keep it going after All-Star Weekend. I then created another group chat called Bay Area Baddies on Discord, and that was when that blew up. I had 700 girls in that group chat literally the first week. It was a crazy time in my life. That's what the story has been, is that this group kind of started off of that Discord. How I got into events is something that I haven't really talked about a lot, but now I really want to share how I did it. This is new information. So basically, it's January, February, oh man, it's literally a year ago, 2025. Like I said, I was a TikTok content creator, and I'm still fairly new at this point, only a couple months old, and I was looking for income. I got recommended, this new company was coming into this company called Pi. They were trying to build up a new market here in the Bay Area. My friend actually recommended me to reach out to them to apply because they had openings for their content creator roles. I was like, oh my god, yes, I need a job. I'm gonna apply to be a content creator for this Pi company. And basically what my job would be then is they would pay me to make content at different events. When I did my interview with them, this is literally right when I had peak All-Star Weekend. Bay Area Baddies group chat I forget if it had formed yet. No, I don't think it had formed yet. But I went to my meeting with them and I was like, yeah, I had this community of 200 girls and for All-Star Weekend. And then they kept asking me about events. They were like, oh, are you hosting anything? Are you doing anything? And I wasn't, but I was just no. And they kept asking me oh, do you have any hosting experience? And I was I threw parties in college. So I was yeah, I have a little bit of experience. I didn't have actual event experience. Then they had told me that they were hiring content creators and they were hiring event hosts. They called it their Pi creators, and it was this Pi creator fund, and that they were paying people to host events. They loved this huge community of women that I had. Basically, they were you should start throwing, they didn't say you should start throwing events, but they offered it to me. They're oh, would you be interested in joining our creator program, and we'll pay you to throw events. Little me was just oh, you're gonna pay me to do something? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And so I joined it, but I had to do a test to see if I could actually get RSVPs, because if y'all don't know what Pi is, it's kind of an Eventbrite and you have to RSVP. I did a test event, so mind you, no event experience. I have no idea what I'm doing. I was you know what, I'm gonna organize a Galentine's before All-Star Weekend so we can all meet each other. I did that. I think I got 50 RSVPs and it was only 25. Obviously had no idea what I was doing, but I did it. I got the RSVPs and they welcomed me into the program. That's how I had joined. Literally right after that, I was okay, I have a community of women. What should I, because I didn't have to create a group. It's literally the next week Bay Area Baddies formed from my TikToks that I posted, and then I had another group chat full of this one had I think 700, 800 girls. I was okay, I'll just call it Bay Area Baddies. From then I started doing events and I joined the creator fund. I started throwing events every month. Mind you, they didn't tell me how many events I had. I think they said that at least 1 or 2 a month, but they didn't say what kind of events I needed to do. They didn't say how many people. I had full creative freedom. That's really how Bay Area Baddies was formed, and how I was able to do free RSVPs is I was on a contract, and so I was getting paid every month per event I was throwing. That's why I was able to do it for free for so long. So I officially started my contract with Pi in February of last year, and it was crazy. Bay Area Baddies formed. Because I didn't have any event experience, I had social media marketing experience, and I was I'm gonna lean into that. I know how to be a content creator. I know how to promote stuff. I'm gonna focus more on that instead of event hosting. I really focused on social media marketing, and I think that's what led to all my events to be super successful. And so how I was able to kind of do it at all these different venues and places. There was only 1 month that I did outreach, and that was March. After March, I did 0 outreach because I had everyone reaching out to me saying do it at my bar, do it at my, I didn't have to do any outreach because it was just in my DMs. And so every month I would just kind of go through and kind of plan, see what I can do. And since I was doing an event every week. It was so easy just to like say yes and lock in a time. Okay, but yeah, that was part 1. So part 2 is March through August. I was in a flow state. I was doing literally like 5 to 6 events every month and I was getting paid. It was going good. Also at this time, like everything around my life was also changing. My content creator career was taking off. I started getting invited to like a lot of different events, paid campaigns, which was like really cool to be a part of. My acting career started taking off like during the summer, like literally during the summer. Events, content creation, and acting like all just like started for me. It was very exciting but also like very overwhelming because I had these 3 different careers that I was trying to manage while doing events in the Bay Area. It was crazy. I think what made my events so successful was I never tried build community, because I feel like everyone was just like, oh, like I want to build community. Like, how do you build community? Like, you actually like have a real community. Like, how do you do it? I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I feel like every event was just really me being myself. I wanted to do events that I would go to if I wasn't the one throwing it, just because like this is back when like I was first doing it, so like early 2025 events. But honestly, social clubs in the Bay Area were not super popular at that time. Like, I did not see really anything. Everybody kind of knows that the Bay Area isn't known for their nightlife. That's why I was like, okay, I have an opportunity here. I want to kind of create something different. That's why I did an all girls thing, because 1, I realized I love girls night outs at this time. Like, I also didn't really have a friend group here in the Bay Area anymore, just because I had moved from LA up here, and that's something that I kind of miss. You know, I miss like girls night out. Building like a girl group also healed me in a way, because I'm like, oh, like now I have friends up here. That's why I always have a section or like a table whenever we do anything. Y'all know how people can be in clubs, and I just want a space where we can literally just be by ourselves without anyone interrupting us or being annoying, having fun, feeling comfortable, actually like dancing. So one thing I love about Bay Area Baddies too is that everyone always has such a good time. We go into somewhere and there's no one dancing, we're gonna be the ones to get the party started. And I think it's so cool because it's happened so many times where like we'll start somewhere really chill and then y'all get your drinks in, y'all start going crazy. I'm like, okay, like we gotta go to the next spot. I think that's also why Bay Area Baddies is so unique. As a Bay Area native, I made a lot of like the events and kind of the vibe custom to being a Bay Area native. Like, you're gonna see a lot of Bay Area culture in these events. I try to throw events where you're gonna hear Bay Area music, rap and hip hop, upbeat music where you're gonna wanna dance. That's been like a theme I try to incorporate. Okay, part 3. After August, I remember in August, like this summer was crazy, absolutely insane. I was going to different cities for my acting and my film festivals, and all of that really was a lot in my own self. And the fact that I was running this ship 700 baddies deep and like doing events every month was insane. I don't know how I did it. I say that because when September came, I was super burnout. September is when I really felt the burnout feeling, and I didn't know what it was at that time. But now looking back, I was like, oh, that was my body screaming for help. I told myself in September, I only threw 1 event in September. I need to slow down the rest of this year. I didn't know how to set boundaries at this time. I do know how to set boundaries. I feel like I've set boundaries in like friendship, relationships, but not with work. Like, that's like the one. So I never learned to set boundaries with. Even though I told myself in September that I needed to take a break, I didn't. Like, I did the complete opposite. October, November, December were the holidays, and I went full throttle on 5 to 6 events a month, even though I told myself I wasn't gonna do that, and I felt it at the end. Like, so many events that I wanted to do during the holidays that I never got to do. And then December came completely out of it. End of December, I'm not really gonna talk about it too much on here, but I have made a TikTok video on it. I started dealing with health issues in December. It's not the point of this video, it's strictly Bay Area Baddie stuff, but I do want to bring it up because never slow down. My body, my mind finally caught up to me. From then on, I like had to make important lifestyle changes that were gonna change the way I moved forward. I immediately told myself, okay, January, girl, you're off. You're not doing anything, no event planning, take a month off. And so that is what I ended up doing. Yeah, so that is kind of what had happened. But also at this time, it was just so crazy because there was so much happening at this time. So my contract with Pi, it was every 3 months, and every 3 months it would renew. Like, I was such a good host, and like I was like really killing it on the app. I was bringing people in, I was getting people to download the app, create accounts, RCP. I was getting paid. I was in a flow state. Kept updating every month, and every month they would update, they would change things. I would be kind of like, not really a huge fan, but I kind of felt that like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on this creator fund. I was also experimenting with ticketed events at this point. I did want to do ticketed events. I just knew that it was going to take a lot more plan, and I didn't have time if I'm doing a different event every week. So I just stuck with the free events, and I did some ticketed. People started telling me like, you should just do your own ticketed events. Yeah, I have thought about that, but I know how much work that is. So I'm comfortable with just not doing that right now. But December came, they had sent me the new contract for 2026. But at this point, I don't even know. They could literally pay me $1,000 per event. I don't know if I would do it because it's just not sustainable for me. Doing those amount of events every month is burning me out. Body literally cannot do it. I don't even know if like I'm going to continue with it. Not because I don't want to work with them. I don't know. It's not sustainable for me. I know if I keep doing free events and I'm going to stack them up, go crazy, and then just continue this cycle. I had to break it and just make a decision. It's like, am I going to continue with Pi, or am I just going to say thank you and do my own thing? At this point, like I was just so kind of worried about my health, and I was like, I am just not going to continue with them. So I didn't sign the contract. I need to kind of figure it out. I don't want to do it in not a good mindset. So that's why in January, I kind of decided to take a break from Bay Area Baddies, everything, and just really figure it out. I'm not going to continue the contract, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do going forward with Bay Area Baddies. Bay Area Baddies has like changed my life. I realized it went beyond events. I was like, shoot, like I really need to figure this out. Like I really don't know what to do. You know, I do like events. It's something I've learned to love, and something I've learned to also get good at. It was never in the plan for me. I never once thought like, I'm gonna move to the Bay Area and I'm gonna start throwing these events for women. It was never in the plan. And so I feel like it's kind of made me think and do some like really hard self-analysis. What do I want to do? What do I really want to do? And I feel like that's why it was important to really figure out what brings me joy. I didn't want to still throw events because I felt like I had to, and I had like this mission to keep doing it because it was so successful last year. I want to do it because I want to continue it, not because like people want me to. Done a lot of thinking. What I did with Bay Area Baddies last year was iconic. It was crazy, but it also can never happen that way again. Going forward, it's gonna definitely be more sustainable. Here's kind of the next part. It's Bay Area Baddies 2026. What did I figure it out? Like I said, it can't happen the way it did it last year because I burned myself out and I was just doing. I think one of the first things I want to do is, long story short, yes, I'm going to continue Bay Area Baddies. I'm gonna still plan. There are events I'm going to plan this year, but it also isn't gonna be the same scale as it was last year. Most of the events that I'm gonna do will be ticketed because, girl, I'm not on a contract anymore. Like I'm free balling it. They are going to be ticketed just to kind of help with event costs and like event planning. This isn't just a job anymore. Like this is full on event planning, event coordinating. That's new. Like I don't really know how to do that, to be honest with you. I mean, I do, but then I don't. Because they're ticketed events, everything is going to be more systematic going forward. Like I actually want a check-in girl at the door, checking people in, giving them wristband, scanning the ticket, actually seeing who's coming, because when I did free RSVPs, I didn't check who was coming. It was more of like for my head count, but it was whoever was going to show up was going to show up. I feel like now I'm going to have a better sense of knowing who's going to come by. So yeah, you can expect ticketed events. And then this is probably the most important part I'm going to implement this year, but I'm going to be building systems in Bay Area Baddies. So what the hell does that mean? I want help this year. So I will be hiring. I already hired an intern and she's been helping me with some stuff behind the scenes. I think as things start to pick up more, I might hire like 1 or 2 more. I want to maybe even hire like a videographer too, because I'm not gonna leave it up to myself to do it, because I know I'm not. Yeah, I'll film it, but then I'm never gonna post it. I think hiring a videographer, just setting up a team, honestly. I'm gonna continue doing this for real, then I need a team behind me. If I have a team to help me with stuff, I'm gonna be able to have a better work, life, passion, dream balance. Yeah, I think that's one of the really important parts for me. Set up systems, get a team behind me. So expect some like hiring posts from me soon, but I'm really excited to do that. You know, start slow, like do a couple events and gradually build up to more events when I can handle it. Once like I got my actual team established, I want to go to more cities this year. I think last year we rotated between Oakland, San Jose, and San Francisco. This year I want to venture out to more cities because I see y'all's comments. I see like different parts of the Bay. We are coming up on her 1 year, and I am planning something for the 1 year, which is next month. So be on the lookout, because I feel like that's just the perfect time to get the ball rolling again. Is finally celebrate our 1 year, barely celebrating our 1 year. I don't know how it's only been a year. It's going to be in San Francisco because it was in San Francisco last year. We are definitely going up for our 1 year, mark my words. Planning it as we speak, but yeah, I'm excited to like have that be the first big event of the year. I'm also kind of curious to what events like you guys do want to see that we did last year again. I know one of the first ones that come to mind is the Baddies Giants game. That was so fun. I would do a Baddies A's game, but we're not going to Sacramento. Like, that's not happening. I want to do a Baddies in Business part 2 because that was such a cool event. I want to do like more networking events like that too. Like, that was such a cool vibe. Now I'm kind of getting ready to return to Bay Area Baddies again, be in event mode, but like I said, it is going to be very different. Free balling it. I'm not on a contract. I need to be mindful of like my energy and my time. But yeah, we're going to see what this year has in store. If you were a part of Bay Area Baddies, like, I appreciate you so much for like coming out, supporting, like posting about it, or even just, you know, it means a lot as someone who is doing this full time. I thank y'all so much for supporting me. I know that this was kind of a long break. I needed it. I really need to clear my head and figure out what I wanted to do going forward. I did decide to continue with it in a more sustainable way. Y'all are following the Bay Area Baddies on Instagram. I think I got everything I needed to say off my chest. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry this was so long, but there was just so much I had to say. Thank y'all for like supporting me once again. I appreciate every single one of you. And if you're watching this and you've never been to an event, I better see you out this year. Also, like, I'm trying to revive my YouTube channel. So this is like part 1 of me doing that. That is the story of Bay Area Baddies. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see y'all at the 1 year next month.